Hi everyone, I'm Matt Zekin, the Houston Regional Admissions Representative for Wichita State University. Today I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about University Student Services. These are all the additional services that students can take advantage of at colleges, universities, and other post-secondary options. I'm going to go through the different types, but keep in mind these are going to be general student services. Every university is going to have their own version of this. So when you are shopping around and looking at different colleges, universities, and other post-secondary options, make sure that you take a deep dive and look at what additional services they're offering you as a student in their institution. All right, here we go. So let's start with what are student services. Student services are used to describe any of the additional programs and services offered to college and university students outside of the general coursework that they take. Although the types of student services have changed over time, the basic tenets of helping students reach their full potential and attending to them as human beings has remained the constant mission. For most universities, student services are included in the cost that students pay for tuition and can often be some of the most underutilized resources on college campuses. Now, most student services do end up being free. Some of them might have a small cost associated with them. That's one of the other things that you'll want to look into when you are weighing student services into your future college decision. So who's responsible for these services? Where do they come from? This will differ depending on the college or university that your child attends, or you if you are this as a student. Generally, there is a designated Office of Student Services or Office of Student Affairs that coordinates, staffs, and offers these services. At Wichita State, most of our student services are offered through our Division of Student Affairs. So there's a few major buckets that student services might fall under. I'm going to be talking from the perspective of Wichita State because it's the university that I do represent. There is a lot of overlap though, so keep that in mind. A lot of the different services that I'll be talking about that Wichita State might offer, you'll find at other universities as well, such as our Office of Student Success, which provides tutoring, money management, success coaching, academic advising. We have an Office of Diversity and Inclusion. They provide a lot of support groups, professional development, multicultural student mentoring. Our Career Development Center I'll talk about as well. They provide internships, employer connections, career counseling, strengths assessments, and then our Counseling and Testing Department I'll go into as well. This provides a lot of counseling, makeup exams, crisis resources, national testing, offices of student involvement. That's where you'll find a lot of things like employment, on-campus employment, I should say, Greek life, student service learning, and student government opportunities, amongst many, many other things. So let's start with student involvement in campus life. Under this bucket of student services, you'll find a lot of things such as your freshman orientation and your campus welcome events. We call it Welcome Fest at our university at Wichita State. You'll find a lot of student organizations. Wichita State alone has over 300 student organizations on campus. You'll find a lot of campus recreation centers run under student involvement, Greek life opportunities, intramural sports, student government and other leadership opportunities, service learning, volunteering, campus festivals and events, and on-campus dining and restaurants. And of course, clubs. We offer, the university level offers tons of different clubs to get involved. Esports is becoming an increasingly popular one, speech and debate teams, art clubs, theater troupes, basically a little bit of everything. Definitely do some digging when you're looking to make your decision as to what college or university you're going to attend. Look into what their student involvement and student life looks like. Most university websites are going to have a lot of information provided on that to show you what you can do to be a complete person on campus, not just a student, but a human being that is a part of the campus environment. Campus recreation. The goal of most campus recreation departments at the university level is to deliver quality recreation, fitness, and leisure programs that connect all students. In most cases, you'll see it. I named it down at the bottom, but I just want to point out most campus rec facilities at any university are going to be free to students. It's usually included with your tuition and fees. A lot of the programming involves aquatics, that's swimming, rowing, water polo, recreation centers, esports gaming, which I mentioned before, competitive sports, intramural and club level sports. So that's basketball, football, baseball, soccer, events, camps, and fitness clubs, and many, many more things as well. There's a lot of ways to get involved and to stay fit while you're on campus. And instead of having to pay those big gym memberships, like I said before, a lot of those services are free to students. Career development centers. The Wichita State Career Development Center is extremely robust. This is one of the things that makes us very special. And most universities do have their own type of career center that provides a lot of career guidance to current students to sort of boost their resume while they're working on their degree program. So campus career services offices exist to provide internships, career coaching, professional readiness services for free to their students. This includes on and off campus employment, resume writing services. A growing trend at a lot of universities is some version of a career closet. Wichita State has one, for example. This is basically a closet space that's at our Career Development Center where students can come and if they need professional attire that they don't already have, and they have a interview coming up for a job, they can come in and get items for free to wear during an interview. It consists of donated professional clothing, which can be really, really expensive to buy brand new. So those students that maybe don't have the the finances to afford going out to expensive store to buy menswear or professional attire for ladies, we provide that for free for students to take advantage of. It's one of those nice little services that a career center might offer. So that's a really cool thing that you can get. You can really build out your resume, build your professional background while you're working on your education. Many universities provide an Office of Diversity and Inclusion. It may be referenced by different names at different universities. The Wichita State Office of Diversity and Inclusion, their aim is to cultivate and sustain an inclusive campus by creating an environment that educates, empowers, and mobilizes students and the community. And in short, just provides a lot of really awesome programming for students from diverse backgrounds. So ODI provides dynamic programs for its diverse student population for free. That includes speakers, film showings, award ceremonies, cultural festivals, LGBTQA programming, a little bit of everything imaginable is provided on the campus level. They put on over 100 different events every single year. You'll find that many universities are addressing the needs of their diverse populations through a specific office. There's also a student center in our Office of Diversity and Inclusion that includes free printing and other resources for students to, sort of have a little home away from home for themselves. Student success. These are some of the different programs that are put in place to really support students as they work through their education and as they're starting their education too. You'll notice first year programming on there. Universities are really trying to ramp up their efforts to make sure that they are addressing the needs of their first year students to promote retention and promotion from freshman to sophomore year, and then eventually to graduation at the end of their senior year. This includes mentorship opportunities, networking events. You'll see a lot of first year seminar courses, basically like how to be a college student 101 type stuff, how to study, how to prepare for tests, things like that. A lot of first year advising programs as well to make sure that freshmen are selecting the correct courses for their major. Passage to Success is a really neat program that we offer first generation students and low income students. This is basically students can move onto campus a week prior to official move-in dates, and they can get some additional like summer programming, sort of like a mini summer college boot camp before they actually get rolling with their fall semester of their freshman year. It's a really neat program. A lot of universities are offering financial resources. Office of Student Money Management, their role is to provide some free personal finance education. A lot of students and even parents as well tend to not think beyond the freshman year in terms of financing and education. The Office of Student Money Management can provide a lot of guidance for developing a budget for not just freshmen, but all 4 years of college for a student. So it's a really great way to build a budget and make sure that your finances are in order. Academic resources, including supplemental instruction, tutoring, math, writing, and public speaking labs, academic advising. In general, universities include all of that for free for students. And then residential living support. This can include, we call them living learning communities at Wichita State. These are basically groupings within the dorms where students who have the same major can all live in the same kind of block of dorms on campus. So that's good for like building those study groups and building that community among students who are studying the same thing as you. We also have resident assistants, RAs for short, very common on most university campuses. Success coaching, and then meal plans to help make sure that your student is eating right while they're on campus as well. Meal plans are super important for those dining halls as well. I want to talk about a special branch of student services as well, known as TRIO. TRIO student services are federally funded Department of Ed programs that are designed to serve and assist low-income students, first-generation college students, and students with disabilities. So students that sort of fall under those 3 brackets right there. These programs, they've been around for the past, depending on which program we're talking about, the past 60 or 70 years or so, since mid-1900s. A lot of these programs started being developed, and today they're just very popular and they're growing in membership. They provide academic tutoring, personal counseling, mentoring, financial guidance, summer programs, and other supports necessary for educational access and retention. Most universities will have sort of like an application to apply for some of these programs. And these programs sort of span a wide range here. Some of them start in middle school and high school, things like Upward Bound and Talent Search, and then all the way through not just graduating with a bachelor's, but you'll notice on there the McNair Post-Baccalaureate Achievement Program. That's for low-income students that are working on a master's or doctoral program to help them through that program as well. These are just special services that are designed to support them. Every university utilizes these services in different ways. And they are designed for students, like student support services, for example, are designed for students that generally designed for those students that fall under those 3 brackets of low income, first gen, or students with disabilities, students that qualify for Pell Grants, that sort of a thing. And it can just be a really great way to assure the retention of those students, as generally, historic data has shown that those students struggle with retention. So universities are taking advantage of the TRIO program to provide that safety net and assure that those students do proceed through college. I would definitely, again, as you're shopping around and looking at different universities, if you fall under one of those categories of, if you come from a family with a lower income bracket, if you're a first generation college student or a student with disabilities, definitely look into how your university takes advantage of the TRIO program to serve students. Student health services. The nice thing about your tuition and fees is that there is generally, most universities do have some sort of a health service that is provided to their students. It's to maintain the mental and physical well-being of students and staff on campus at little to no cost. Health insurance is generally not required to be seen at student health centers. So you can get a lot of different things. Again, these are all everything that's on this list is specific to Wichita State, but you'll find that as you look around at other universities, they include a lot of these same services: health portals, immunizations, allergy shots, STI and HIV counseling and testing, counseling and prevention services, which I'll talk about, family planning, health promotion, injury follow-up care, lab services, men's and women's health, if you just need to get a physical, TB screenings, prescriptions, all that kind of stuff. Little to no cost. It's included with your tuition and fees that you pay. For counseling and prevention services, there's a lot of supports in place within universities to make sure that students who need help can get help. And that includes individual therapy. You can see a full list of different seminars and individual therapy and counseling programs that we have in place right there. Academic stress, anxiety, test anxiety, time management, anger management, alcohol and drug concern, all sorts of different things that we offer. You can get psychiatric consultation as well. It is a very affordable and accessible thing that we offer on campuses at Wichita State. Your psychiatric consultations are free, and then if you do need to have continuous appointments, I believe it's $5 to $10 per appointment. It's changed in recent years, but it's very low cost compared to going to a psychiatrist or a therapist outside of the university level if you go to a private practice person. Counseling and prevention services continued. Group therapy is huge as well. Participating in groups can help you gain greater insight to your identity, thoughts, feelings, behaviors, and interactions with others. Groups can also help you learn new ways to manage challenges as well as improve your school success. So things like grief and loss support, LGBTQ student support, test anxiety, even dissertation and thesis support on the academic side, and understanding yourself and others. There's tons of great ways to, and I won't read through all of these here, but if you want to pause the video and take a look here, there's just so much that's available at the university level. These are some of the ones, not even all of them, but some of the ones that we offer at Wichita State. And again, I'm willing to bet that most universities are offering similar types of programs as well. So if you are worried about, going off to college somewhere, going off to university and, being on an island all your own, know that that's not the case. A big part of student services is offering support that is adaptive to the needs of our students. And these counseling and prevention services can really, really provide a lot of great workshops to help with all of that type of stuff. We also, at Wichita State, we have a child development center, and you'll find that most universities do have programs for this as well. This is to provide childcare and child development services to students and university staff. WSU services are available to students age 6 weeks to 6 years old. So if you're a student that does have a child, there are services available to you, daycare services and the like. Available at reduced cost. If you know anything about daycare, it can be extremely expensive. So a lot of universities are trying to, manage that need and to provide services to make sure that, your child has a safe place to be all day while you are going to class and maybe working a part-time job as well, whatever it may be. Another nice thing there too is that the child care professionals that are working with your children as they are at the Child Development Center are all, all meet state licensing centers standards as well. Excuse me. Disability services. I did want to get into this a little bit here. So disability services for individuals with a disability provides those individuals with learning, mental, or physical disabilities an equal opportunity to attain their academic and personal goals. It also provides accessibility services to students and staff. I included our website down there that does contain some more detail into the specific disability services that we offer. But at the university level, you will find some sort of an Office of Disability Services that provides accessible classrooms, adaptive recreation and physical ed, auxiliary aids, adaptive equipment for people that need those, brailing services, escort and transportation services for students with mobility and vision impairments, note-taking, accessible tables and chairs in classrooms, interpreters for deaf and hard of hearing students. Tons of stuff that we offer those students. Something I did want to cover as well with IEPs and 504 plans. As we're transitioning from the high school to the college level, it's important to know the limits of IEPs and Section 504 plans. So one important thing to note for students that have a disability or students that do have an individual education plan, the IEP itself no longer applies when the student graduates from high school. So your student who may be used to a certain standard of service according to that IEP, that will discontinue when they do graduate. So it is important to note that there is going to be a transition there. Now, Section 504 still protects students from discrimination when they get to college, but they won't receive a 504 plan like they did in high school. So 504 still applies for sure, but they don't have that specific plan that's tailored to them. Different colleges will have different procedures for requesting disability services and will require different types of documentation. Check with your child's Office of Disability Services to see what's required and what services are offered. It's important for your child, this is a really big one too, it's important for your child to understand that their learning and thinking differences to understand what they are and to be able to advocate for themselves. Self-advocacy is very important at the collegiate level, and universities are not allowed to provide academic reports to parents without permission from the student because the student is now a legal adult, and any information can't be provided without the consent of the student. So it's important to make sure that you know that as your child is transitioning. So if your child does have those needs, parents, it's important that you get with your child, make sure that you fill out the proper paperwork at the university level. So that way, if you and your child want you as the parent to be able to have access to their academic records while they're going to college, you get all the proper paperwork filled out. Because without that proper documentation, you're not going to be able to have access to their progress and sort of keep an eye on things from afar. So very important to note that and to understand those legal parameters. There's a website down at the bottom there that will also kind of give you some more context as to how we at Wichita State deal with that transition from high school to college. Again, check with the Office of Disability Services for whatever college or university that you're looking into to make sure that they have a plan in place and the proper procedures for that transition. So very common available disability accommodations. These will differ from university to university, but a lot of them are super common. Things like extended time on exams, the use of laptops, calculators, the permission to make audio recordings during lecture, reduced course load or priority registration for classes, copies of notes from a classmate or assigned note taker, access to audiobooks, voice recognition software, text-to-speech programs, adaptive technology, enlarged braille or recorded tests, sign language interpreters. A lot of those things, keep in mind, I'm referencing, disability accommodations, those people that are transitioning, who maybe had an IEP or a 504 plan, who can provide documentation that they receive services for something in high school, can advocate for those different services at the college level as well. Some of the things that are more difficult to attain, extended time on papers and projects, those are generally a case-by-case type of situation. Course waivers and substitutions and alternative exam formats. You may be used to that third one in particular at the high school level. Many universities are able to provide some sort of an audio exam as needed, or like I said, brailled exams. But oral exams, if your student is used to having a test read to them, those might be a little bit more of a case-by-case basis as well. Again, it's just one of those things to look into for your child with disabilities. Some other common student services, almost done here, just wrapping up with a few items. Other common things that are included, though, transportation. Many campuses are offering shuttle services to students, as well as tickets for the city bus. Wichita State offers both of those. Bike shares and rental scooters are becoming more common as well. So there's a lot of different ways to get around on campus. You'll see, a lot of those bike racks where you can just, swipe a card or use an app to get a bike to ride around on campus. Very, very increasingly common at big universities. Campus safety, major universities typically have their own university police force. Wichita State does, as well as emergency call boxes placed throughout campuses. These allow you to pick up a phone and speak directly to campus police dispatch during an emergency. Usually they are labeled with like the big blue lights. You'll see like it looks kind of like a police light on top of a old-fashioned police car. It's just a little blue light that circulates. A lot of universities have their own safety apps, by request escort services. So like you can have a university staff member, security official, or something like that escort you if you have an evening class and it's dark outside, you're feeling a little nervous. You can typically request that somebody walk you from, your class back to the dorm if it's on the other side of campus or something like that. The Clery Act, I just wanted to mention, the Clery Act is a law requiring colleges to be transparent around their crime stats. So every university and college should be posting or should make accessible and transparent their crime statistics for their university campus, number of reported crimes, things of that nature. Student centers, these are the social hubs of a college campus, which usually includes some dining options, school stores, study areas, meeting spaces, things like that. Those are usually open to the general public as well, but there's a lot of really great places to just kind of meet, hang out, and serve as that social hub in student centers on campus. The Radigan Student Center, the RSC, is Wichita State's social hub on campus. And then athletic events and tickets. Students often receive free home athletic tickets for sporting, fine arts, and other social events on campus. So you can check out if you have a major sports team on campus or multiple major sports teams. You can usually get tickets for free, as well as fine arts events, theater, a little bit of everything under the sun available to students on campuses. So just to kind of summarize the items I went over here to wrap up here, no matter what college or university you choose, they will offer a range of services that are often free or reduced in price for students of the college, and they're often some of the most underutilized resources on campus. There's so much that students don't think to look into. I think a lot of folks, when they're choosing a college, they may get caught up on just the name of the college or a specific academic program that they want to get into, whatever it might be. Those are super important. Don't get me wrong. Everyone has their own values when they're looking for a university. Everyone has the things that are important to them. But don't forget to look into those little extra things that universities are providing, because like I said, they're mostly free or reduced in price, and you're already paying for them anyway. Right there, it says it. Your students' tuition and fees include many of these services, if not all of these services in them, whether they get used or not. So when you see tuition and fees, that fees portion of it usually includes all these student services that, your student can use them if they decide to, but if they don't, they're paying for them anyway. So you might as well use them, folks. And I just wanted to end with this here. This is my contact information at Wichita State University. Please feel free. I'm happy to talk about student services or schedule a time to just meet virtually right now. My contact information is there. You can reach me on Zoom. I'm happy to set up a meeting with students or parents or both. My phone number is there at the top, as well as my Twitter handle and email address. Please feel free to reach out. The center of this page right here, you'll see our contact for the Office of Admissions. And then the bottom right has some of our general social media presence as well. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Our YouTube channel in particular has some awesome resources on there, just virtual visit stuff, all kinds of different resources that you can take advantage of on there. It was a pleasure getting to create this video for all of you. I hope that when you, no matter what university you select, no matter where you end up going, that you really take a look at the student services that are provided to you at that university. Don't forget, one more time, they are free or reduced in price, and you will pay for them whether you use them or not. So don't forget to use your student services. Have a great day, folks. It's been a pleasure. Take care.